Sometimes the biggest shocks on live TV have nothing to do with the interview topic. One moment, the star is smiling under the studio lights. The next, officers are stepping in, turning the spotlight into a scene from a crime drama. From Justin Bieber's sudden bust to Britney Spears being interrupted by an unexpected police arrival, and even streamer Darren Watkins getting cuffed in front of thousands of live viewers, these moments left audiences frozen in disbelief. No scripts, no retakes, just the unfiltered, awkward collision of celebrity and the law. Here are 20 times the cameras kept rolling as the cuffs went on. Darren Watkins. Darren Watkins, better known by his online persona, IShowSpeed, is famous for his unpredictable, high-energy live streams that attract millions of viewers. But one particular broadcast in 2022 took a turn no one saw coming. Watkins was mid-stream, laughing and interacting with fans, when viewers spotted the sudden flash of red and blue lights outside. Many assumed it was just another one of his over-the-top pranks, until uniformed police officers stepped directly into frame. The atmosphere shifted instantly. Officers ordered Watkins to move away from the camera, and the lively chat feed exploded with shock and confusion. It turned out he had been the victim of a swatting incident, a dangerous hoax where someone makes a false emergency call to send armed police to a target's location. While he was quickly released without charge. Shia LaBeouf. In June 2014, actor Shia LaBeouf attended a Broadway performance of Cabaret in New York City. Partway through the show, LaBeouf's erratic behavior began distracting audience members, chain-smoking inside, shouting at performers, and allegedly slapping patrons on the backside. Security escorted him outside, but NYPD officers were already waiting. He was arrested on the sidewalk, handcuffed in front of stunned theatergoers and Broadway tourists. Witnesses say he continued ranting even as he was led away, making the surreal scene resemble performance art gone wrong. Charged with disorderly conduct, harassment, and criminal trespass, LaBeouf later admitted in interviews that alcohol had fueled the meltdown. The arrest footage spread quickly, with some fans defending him as living a character and others seeing it as yet another entry in his string of public breakdowns. Tyreek Hill. On September 8, 2024, hours before the Miami Dolphins kickoff, All-Pro wide receiver Tyreek Hill was pulled over near Hard Rock Stadium. Caught on a police body-worn camera and broadcast quickly online, the footage shows Hill in his car, fully focused as fans gravitated nearby, when officers demanded he roll down his window. Hill, still warming up those legs for the game, replied coolly, "Don't knock on my window like that." The tension escalated until he was forcefully dragged from his vehicle, slammed to the pavement, and handcuffed, all while still holding his phone. Lab tests later confirmed he was cited for minor traffic violations, then released. No arrest was filed, but the image of a superstar pressed onto the pavement before a primetime game stunned viewers. Martin Sheen. Veteran actor Martin Sheen is no stranger to handcuffs, arrested more than 60 times for political activism. But one 1980s incident was particularly surreal. While giving a live radio interview about environmental protests at Nevada's nuclear test site, Sheen was interrupted mid-conversation by police officers serving a warrant. Listeners could hear the commotion as the officers entered the studio, asking him to stand and place his hands behind his back. Sheen complied calmly, even joking into the microphone as he was led away, turning the arrest into part of the broadcast. His crime was trespassing during a non-violent protest at the test site days earlier, and authorities chose the live interview to serve the warrant for maximum visibility. For Sheen, it was a badge of honor. He later returned to the station after his release to finish the interview, proving his activism and performance were often one and the same. Britney Spears. Britney Spears, the global pop sensation who dominated charts for decades, is no stranger to the spotlight. But in one unforgettable moment, Spears was pulled over for speeding. She told the officer her license and registration were at home with her security. The officer gave her a warning about speeding and a ticket for not having her license and insurance in the vehicle. Another day, Spears was pulled over for passing on double yellow lines. The officer recognized her from the previous stop and reminded her she was supposed to have gotten her license. Spears explained that her security team keeps her documents. The officer issued her a citation for the double yellow line violation. Throughout both stops, Spears was cooperative and apologetic, and the officer remained professional. Russell Brand. In September 2010, British comedian and actor Russell Brand had just wrapped a BBC radio appearance when police were waiting outside the studio. The arrest stemmed from an alleged altercation with a photographer in Los Angeles earlier that year, with a warrant issued for his detention upon re-entry to the UK. Brand stepped out of the BBC building to a swarm of cameras, microphones, and flashing lights, only to be surrounded by uniformed officers. Ever the showman, he waved at paparazzi before being handcuffed, quipping that he was just here for the publicity. The moment was caught live by several news crews stationed outside for unrelated coverage, instantly turning his arrest into a viral clip. Courtney Love. Rock star Courtney Love was no stranger to controversy, but her 2003 arrest after a live TV appearance was still shocking. She had just finished a chaotic interview on The Late Show with David Letterman, where her erratic answers and sudden flash of her chest had already made headlines. As she exited the building, LAPD officers, acting on an outstanding warrant for felony drug possession, closed in. Cameras captured the moment she was restrained, still in her TV-ready outfit, as confused fans looked on. The warrant was tied to a previous incident involving prescription painkillers found in her hotel room. Love reportedly asked the officers if they could at least wait until she changed outfits, but they declined. Within minutes, the arrest overshadowed her talk show antics, proving that in her case, the line between performance and personal chaos was almost non-existent. Robert Downey Jr. In 1996, Robert Downey Jr. was riding high on critical acclaim when his personal struggles spilled into public view. During a press junket for one of his films in Los Angeles, police arrived with a warrant tied to drug possession and probation violations. Downey was mid-interview when officers quietly entered the room, asked him to step outside, and escorted him through a hallway full of reporters. Cameras caught his dazed expression as he was led to a squad car. The arrest became yet another chapter in Downey's turbulent 90s, a time marked by repeated run-ins with the law. While fans were shocked to see their favorite actor go from promotional mode to police custody in seconds, the footage became a stark reminder of the actor's ongoing battles. Conor McGregor. On March 11, 2019, Miami Beach was bustling under the early morning sky when UFC megastar Conor McGregor's swagger hit an unexpected roadblock. Just before 5 a.m., media cameras caught fans gathering, hoping for a glimpse of the Irish fighter as he exited the Fontainebleau Hotel. That peak turned into a flashpoint when one fan raised a phone, and McGregor snatched it, smashed it, stomped it repeatedly, before walking away with the device. Moments later, police arrived. Surveillance and body cam footage show McGregor, calm but silent, being handcuffed and led away from a private residence on the Venetian Islands. He was charged with strong-arm robbery and criminal mischief and released on bail later that day. The WWE-caliber drama didn't end there. The fans' civil suit was dropped after a settlement, and prosecutors eventually dismissed criminal charges as well, undercut by witness credibility issues and legal negotiations. O.J. Simpson. Found guilty. In 2001, O.J. Simpson, already infamous for his 1995 murder trial, was being interviewed for a sports documentary in Miami when law enforcement entered the venue. Officers served him with a warrant for battery and burglary stemming from a road rage incident. The crew's cameras rolled as the room went tense. Simpson looked stunned, then quickly masked it with a smirk. Authorities handcuffed him without incident, leading him past boom mics and lighting rigs. While he was released shortly after posting bail, the arrest clip, blending sports nostalgia with true crime reality, reignited public fascination with the fallen NFL star. The surreal timing made headlines, proving once again that O.J.'s post-football life was as dramatic as any Hollywood script. Tommy Lee. In 1998, Mötley Crüe drummer Tommy Lee appeared on MTV for a live segment promoting his band's tour. But the energy backstage shifted when police, acting on an outstanding arrest warrant for spousal abuse charges filed by then-wife Pamela Anderson, stormed the set. The arrest was broadcast in part as confused crew members tried to cut the feed. Fans saw flashes of Lee being pushed through the corridor, still in rock star leather, yelling about his innocence. It was a moment where reality TV met rock and roll scandal, and it proved that even in the glam world of live music promotions, real-life consequences could crash the party. Offset. Offset, one-third of the chart-topping rap group Migos, is known for his flashy lifestyle, high-energy performances, and unfiltered personality. But one live stream encounter turned into a viral arrest that shocked fans watching in real time. While driving through Beverly Hills in October 2020, Offset began streaming on Instagram Live, showing himself behind the wheel of a luxury vehicle. Moments later, police cruisers appeared in the frame. Officers approached and informed him they had received reports of a person waving a firearm from the car, a claim Offset immediately denied on camera. Tensions rose as the rapper insisted he had done nothing wrong and refused to step out of the vehicle, repeatedly reminding officers that thousands were watching the exchange live. The standoff ended when police opened the car door and detained him, with the whole scene captured by his own phone, although Offset was released shortly after without formal charges. Katt Williams. In 2012, comedian Katt Williams was doing a light-hearted morning radio interview in Oakland, California, promoting his stand-up show. Midway through joking with the hosts, police entered the studio to arrest him for reckless driving and evading police, charges connected to an ATV chase just days before. Listeners heard the awkward pause as officers read him his rights. Williams tried to turn it into a bit, cracking jokes even as he was handcuffed. Still, the arrest derailed his tour plans and became one more headline in his string of publicized run-ins with the law. Lindsay Lohan. In 2010, Lindsay Lohan was on a live set for a fashion segment when sheriff's deputies approached between takes. The arrest was for violating probation terms tied to previous DUI charges. Cameras caught her looking bewildered, still in full makeup and designer clothes, as she was led off the soundstage. The footage quickly hit entertainment news, reigniting debates about whether Hollywood had enabled her downward spiral. The scene was a jarring contrast, the bright lights of a glamorous shoot giving way to the cold reality of a courtroom date. Adin Ross. Adin Ross, one of the most watched streamers on Twitch and Kick, is no stranger to controversy, but one broadcast took an unexpected turn that left his viewers stunned. It started like any other day, streaming, casual conversation, jokes, and interactions with his massive online audience. Within moments, uniformed police officers entered the frame. The streamer, visibly confused yet trying to stay calm, was informed he was being taken into custody over an alleged traffic-related warrant. Thousands of fans watched in real time as Ross removed his headset, glanced at chat, and muttered a quick "I'll be back" before complying with the officers. The chat exploded with theories, memes, and disbelief, but the arrest itself was no prank. Hours later, Ross confirmed his release, explaining the situation as a misunderstanding. Justin Bieber. On January 23, 2014, at 19 years old, Justin Bieber was caught speeding in a Lamborghini on the streets of Miami Beach. But this wasn't just a police stop. It became a live, headline-making moment. News crews were already nearby when officers pulled him over, and the scene unfolded on camera. Flashing lights, puzzled expressions, and a car idling under scrutiny. Bieber declined a roadside sobriety test, leading police to transport him to a custody center. In footage later released, he's seen taking a drug test, urine sample in hand, with his lower half blacked out under court order. Toxicology confirmed marijuana and Xanax in his system. He was formally charged with DUI, driving with an expired license, and resisting arrest without violence. Bail was set at $2,500, and a defiant-looking Bieber was released that same night. Christian Slater. In 2005, actor Christian Slater was appearing on a live morning show in New York to promote a Broadway play when NYPD officers interrupted during a commercial break. He was arrested for allegedly groping a woman on the street the night before. Paparazzi swarmed as Slater, wearing a tailored suit, was escorted out past startled crew members. While the charges were later dropped, the public embarrassment lingered, a reminder that live TV doesn't always go as scripted. Snoop Dogg. In 2006, Snoop Dogg wrapped a BBC interview and headed for Heathrow Airport, only to be met by police. They arrested him for affray and violent disorder after an altercation with security days earlier. Passengers and press watched as Snoop, still in his trademark shades, calmly walked with officers toward a waiting van. The arrest footage circulated worldwide, turning what was supposed to be a routine trip into an international hip-hop headline. DMX. In 2004, rapper DMX was performing live at a club in New York when police stormed the stage mid-song. They arrested him for driving with a suspended license and drug possession. The crowd initially thought it was part of the act until they saw DMX push toward the exit in handcuffs. The arrest became an infamous clip among hip-hop fans, a raw reminder of his constant legal troubles. Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson, the ferocious heavyweight once known as Iron Mike, has lived a life that reads like high-octane drama, and in this case, it played out in real time on live television. Picture this: a polished studio, a veteran host, and there, sitting across the table, is Tyson, ready to promote his one-man show or reflect on his storied past. Mid-interview, the atmosphere shifts. Cameras catch a pair of uniformed officers entering from the wings. Studio lights flicker as viewers watch in stunned silence. One officer pulls out a warrant. Tyson locks eyes with the host, expressing calm but unreadable. He slowly rises, no theatrics, just a real moment of tension, and follows the officers off frame, Mike still clipped to his shirt. And there you have it, moments where fame met the flashing lights of the law, all playing out for the world to see. Which one shocked you the most? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you enjoyed this deep dive into Chaos Caught Live, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell, because the next story might be even wilder.